I bought this, 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 and this, of course, this, and this, and this, and so on. In total, I bought over 40 self-published books on Amazon. I'm going to kind of fill you in why. In fact, actually, it was a total of 45 titles, to be honest, and this doesn't even include my books about self-publishing, which is an additional 5 titles. All in all, I spent over $100 to get a lot of these proof and author copies because I wanted to share a little bit about each one of these books. All these books have a story, but not in the way that you would think. For instance, my very first book was The 3 Keys to Health and Happiness. I didn't have to buy that recently because it's no longer available. It was soon replaced by the updated version, the second edition, and actually had a professional editor handle it. But that was my first book, and I tell you, it's a crowning achievement. And any of those of you out there that have published a book before know exactly what I mean. There's a certain part in your heart that you have for your very first title, even if it's Bowling Shoe Ugly. Then I had my big breakout hit in about January of 2016 in an Ultimate Home Workout Plan bundle. This right here was all of my workouts put into one single title, and I really honestly never expected it to take off the way it did, but boy, did it really shoot up the charts. In fact, it landed me some opportunities and interviews over on YouTube and some podcasts, and I was just elated. In fact, it laid the groundwork for what I'm now doing here with self-publishing with Dale, because later on in April of 2016 was when I started this channel. And then I actually have what I call Workhorse Books, meaning that maybe they aren't the greatest sellers, but they consistently sell at a pretty decent volume. And that was the Chest and Arms Home Workout Plan and also the 15-minute Standing Abs Workout Plan. A few of the books over the years were workhorses of sorts that were probably on scale with Chest and Arms and the abs workout one, but maybe they've died off. These ones have kind of fluctuated, and since I'm not promoting the fitness brand so much anymore, some of the life of those titles have kind of died down. But when I say these books have a story, it's not just each one of their successes or failures. I want to kind of share a little bit of the mistakes that I made in the process of publishing so many stinking books. The first mistake I made was if it's off-brand or of lower quality content. I know it sucks for me to sit here and admit to you that I put out some low quality content, but at the time it seemed high quality to me because here I am DIY till I die. I was really putting in all of the reps. Heck, some of the times I was creating my own book covers, but it came at my detriment because the titles didn't look so good. And as I'd mentioned in the very first title, I'd never hired an editor. I self-edited, and boy, if you go back and read that manuscript, you could tell. And though it's commendable to be DIY, some aspects of your business, you really shouldn't try to grind it out. I think I would probably have been better suited to writing more content or marketing that content instead of going and trying to make covers, because some of these covers would take me 12 hours plus and they would come out looking mediocre at best. Not to mention the interior design. I consider myself a bit of a mediocre interior design formatter. I've talked about this time and again, but also I had formatted books do a competition with myself to see who could do it the fastest and the highest quality, and they beat me. Let's just be honest. Next big mistake was overbundling. Now you're probably saying, what do you mean by overbundling? Well, I was a personal trainer for a number of years, so I had quite a few different workouts. So my thought process was taking some of the workouts, putting them together, and making a full workout plan that I could kind of publish. Well, I had all these different workout plans that I could go ahead and bundle, but my mind started thinking, I said, well, what happens if I take similar workouts and put them together in a bundle? And then do another bundle that would probably have some similarities or overlaps or finding specific audiences. But the fact of the matter is, it's a little shady. It's a little sketchy. You probably shouldn't be doing that. In fact, ACX has that inside their terms of service, and I believe even to a certain extent Amazon KDP too. So you want to be very careful about overbundling, meaning that as soon as you have a title and you bundle it once, that's it, right? If you plan on bundling anywhere past that, it's really not worth it. And to be honest with you, I had all these different bundles, but maybe one or two of them would sell here and there. So I overwhelmed the market with all of these bundles, thinking I was going to bring in some revenue from it. But to be honest with you, it did nothing but create a bunch of extra work for me. And my third mistake was no promoting. It was about late 2016 to 2017 that burnout started to set in for me with this fitness brand. I just got kind of tired of telling people how to do push-ups and sit-ups and squats and how do you lose weight, how do you diet right. All that was just kind of grinding my gears, and I liked the success and I liked the fact that it was paying my bills, but at the end of the day I wasn't very happy. So I just stopped promoting it. I stopped doing interviews for it. My attention shifted over to this channel here, Self-Publishing with Dale. And so while I started spinning these new plates, the old plates started falling down and crashing and breaking. And that means that the fitness brand just was on life support and it started to really just slow down to a halt. So with these few mistakes that I shared with you, I want to kind of share one additional point when it comes to when you're publishing books. Yes, the more times that you're at bat, the more likely you are to knock the ball out of the park. Sure, you might swing and miss a time or two, but as you keep doing this, you can really reevaluate how you're approaching this business, how you're producing the content, how you're marketing the content, how you're getting the funds together to have a professional book cover designer or an editor for your content. That means so much, but the biggest thing I want you to pay attention to is what's called the Pareto Principle. It's the 80-20 rule. And it kind of works like this, that 20% of the work you put in will drive in 80% of the results. Conversely speaking, 80% of your efforts are going to draw in about 20% of your results. And to be honest, this really rings true now more than ever. I might have a ton of these titles, but to be honest with you, they're collecting dust. Do I care if they draw revenue? Sure. I mean, I would be lying to you if I would like to see the glory days of how these fitness books were doing. But do I want to shoulder the burden here of going and carrying this brand and pushing it? Or do I want to focus on how I'm moving forward? Because what's moving the needle right now is the books about self-publishing. And one could make the argument again, like,
hey, if these titles weren't so great, can't you go back and fix them? Can't you tweak them? Couldn't you be able to put a second or maybe even a third edition of a specific book?
But the reality is, I just don't bother fixing it because, again, it's in my rear view mirror and I'm focused on moving forward. Is the content still good? Yes. I left books up that I can still stand behind and feel comfortable if somebody purchases it on the Amazon Marketplace. But my mind right now is focused on the self-publishing books and the future editions I'm going to be putting out of those, because those are starting to pretty much be the 20% that's drawing in 80% of the revenue. Hey, and speaking of all the stuff where I say hiring out, did you know I actually published a book entirely using Fiverr's services? Yeah, believe it or not, I'm going to start you over here on how to self-publish a book using only Fiverr. It's a video series. You're going to want to watch the whole thing. It's very fascinating. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll see you there.